Cut it out. Get me all choked up before I even get going here. My name's Earl. I'm an alcoholic. Hi, everybody. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. I want to thank the foundation for asking me to come share. I want to, anybody who's new, welcome. Sincerely welcome. I can't imagine what your karma is that you'd be new and show up at a deal like this, man. God must be thinking, boy, we got to shock the hell out of this one now. 12 step by the planet. We're glad you're here and welcome. It's so nice that I haven't had much sleep, which I'm sure a lot of you can identify with. I mean, you just don't want to miss anything. But it's emotional. You know, I come in and I just see so many people that I've met over the years across the country. You know, and it's just it's an amazing feeling. Before I start blubbering, I'll get into my... Well, I'm here because I drank. That's why I'm here. And I drank because I loved the effect produced by alcohol. When I was... I didn't start drinking when I was 12. I held off as long as I could, man. I was restless, irritable, and discontented for some time prior to that first drink. And the only reason that I drink is that I'd been shipped off to boarding school. My reaction to that emotionally was that the people who knew me best in the world had just thrown me away, and I had no idea why I was no longer allowed to be a part of the family when I got shipped off to school. The fact was I was being given an opportunity for a wonderful education. Held me in good stead to this very day. But I've never really dealt much with the facts. I've never really concerned myself with that. I mean, it's all about... I live down in here, you know what I mean? And this felt bad, so it had to be bad, you know? And I had met the biggest... I was the littlest kid in the whole school, and I'd met the biggest kid in the whole school who had found me and beat the hell out of me. And I was sitting in my room, and word had spread across this entire campus in like 30 minutes. Watch out for this little Hightower kid. He attacked Tiny, who was the bigger one, which had nothing to do... I mean, what I was a 12-year-old frightened child, and I was developing a reputation as being a little madman, you know, right out of the gate. And I was sitting in my room, and the cool guys around campus wanted to find out who I was, so they came by, and Matt came in my room and said, "You want to smoke a joint?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I do." And I had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. I didn't know what that meant. All I knew, what I heard was, "Do you want to hook up with us?" And the answer was, yes, I do, because as far as I can tell, I'm alone in the world, and, you know, it doesn't matter where you guys are going. You could have come in my room and said, "We're going to go kill the Spanish teacher. You want to come?" I said, "I'm with you. Let's go." And I went with him, and we picked up Steve, and we went behind the dorm, and there was a Tupperware container full of cheap red wine, and Matt lit this joint and handed it to me, and I did what he did, and then the wine came around. I took a pull on the wine. 12-year-old boy, 2 13-year-olds standing there, total strangers, no idea what's going on, lost in the world, didn't understand it. I mean, it's just a downward spiral for me. I mean, I'm looking at my life at 12. I'm thinking, I'm not making it to 13. You know, it's just bleak. And I mean, just like that. That thing that makes me bodily different from my fellows occurred. And this feeling just wafted up over me, and suddenly I was comfortable standing where I was standing, doing what I was doing with the people I was doing it with. And I had never felt that way before in my life. And it was just this calm, easy feeling, and I couldn't put the words to it at the time, but I can now. And what it was the absence of fear. That's what it was. Alcohol was the fear killer for me. And that's terribly important in my life, because I'm a self-centered, frightened individual. That's who I am. That's who I was. And that's the way come on in. Yeah, man. More the merrier. And I've got this big barrel of emotions inside me, right? And up on the surface, there are all kinds of emotions just kind of swimming around, you know? And I don't know anybody that feels one emotion for a couple of days, gets tired of it, and then feels something else, I mean, they all just kind of come and go and just kind of wash over you, People, I'm a little frightened. There's a, and I'm tired. When I get tired, I'm feeling mildly confused now. I can drink through those like that, But way down at the bottom of that barrel, man, that deep emotional current that runs my life is fear, and fear's the last thing I'll feel. So if I'm going to drink to kill the fear, I got to get drunk. Got no time for social drinking. I gotta get down to the bottom of the barrel. I gotta get drunk, which is why I got drunk the first time I drank. And that's what drinking was to me. You drink this stuff to effectively medicate yourself so that you no longer feel the fear, so that you can measure up somehow, so that you can go out and be in the world. And that was my MO. I mean, it was humble beginnings. I mean, I apologize for mentioning drugs. I identify as an alcoholic, but I'm a child of the 60s, and we were very, very, carving out our own identity. Our parents were the alcoholics. They were drinking themselves to death. We were carving out a new identity. We were going to kill ourselves in a whole new way, So we were focused on the drugs, but the fact of the matter is, the drugs were what we focused on, but there was only one thing that was on the table every single day. That was alcohol. And my opinion on that, my humble opinion on that, is because drugs are completely unreliable. And alcohol is remarkably reliable. I mean, there's no quality control going on the street out there, you know what I mean? You never know what you've got till you get it in your body. You go get a fifth of gin, you go get a quart of Jack Daniels, you know what you got. You can count on this, so no matter what else goes down tonight, I got my bottle. I do so much cocaine I can't get my mouth open anymore. And it's 7:30 and the party just started, I've overshot the mark completely. Don't worry about it, man. You suck a little gin through your teeth, it'll loosen you right up and go right on with the party. Not a problem. The ass is a little too spooky, don't worry about it. Jack gets you back in the comfort zone. Ease that right off. Not enough heroin to get you to that heart and lungs working place? Don't worry about it. Jack will get you the rest of the way. Get you where you need to be. So I've relied on alcohol. I had relied on it my whole life. How you guys doing? Hey, good to see you. All right. Friends from everywhere. It's amazing. Where was I? It doesn't matter. So, it was just humble beginnings. You know what I mean? I'm exploring, I'm shooting this and smoking this and popping this and ramming that and, just going nuts. Doing the things that would have me be classified legally insane by the military a few years later, but that's a whole other story. 16, I started going to mental institutions. They were committing me for 3 months of observation, a year of rehabilitation, and this was, based on a 5-minute conversation. With me. It's like, we need to lock him up now. Can I get some water? Anybody got any water? Throw one up. Yeah. All right. So, humble beginnings for me, and it progressed like it does. By the time I was 16, I knew I was an alcoholic. I knew I was an alcoholic. I knew that I relied heavily upon alcohol on a daily basis to get me through the day. I knew that. I was comfortable with that. You've got your story. You've got your life. This is mine. This is who I am. I resign my... Acceptance is the key. It's who I am. We're going to go with it. And because in the beginning, that's the beauty of it. In the beginning, it worked perfectly. It was perfect. I was getting blasted out of my skull, waking up the next morning, couple of Tylenol, shake it off, going about my business. And I thought, feeling better than I've ever felt in my life? No downside? What's the big deal? When I was in the beginning, nobody was going to jail. Nobody died. There was no blood drawn. Nobody was going to mental institutions. All these things would come to be. But my experience was I'm terrified of life and the living of it. I consume this alcohol. I move through the world. I got to do this. I don't know, I don't know. Do other people have a broken piece? I don't know. I know I do, and I know that alcohol takes care of that for me. And I move through my life. And it's, the disease progressed. Knowing that I was an alcoholic, I simply accepted that, just worked that in with everything else that was going on in my life, and I just moved forward. Just keep going. I was a defiant, self-willed, fear-driven alcoholic moving through my life. And as it progressed, all of the things that normal people experience in life slipped away from me. At a very early age in my life, when I got shipped off to boarding school at 12, I was in pain about that for 3 days. At the end of that 3 days, it was as if something broke inside me. And I looked at my family and I said, you don't want me, I don't want you. And I turned my back on them and pretty much never went back. I had no sense of family. I had no sense of community. I had no sense of particularly belonging anywhere. I didn't trust anyone. Honesty was something that I considered inconvenient. I have been known in my life to lie for absolutely no reason. And I would often wonder, why would and the thoughts would go through my head, why am I doing this? Somebody would say, well, what did you do this afternoon? I'd say, I went to the movies. And I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, you didn't go to the movies. Why would you say, you did not improve your standing here at all by saying you went to the movies. They didn't think better of you at all by saying you went to the movies. There was no value in saying this lie, in saying I went to the movies. You weren't in trouble. Nobody was out to get you. You just lied for no reason. Why do you do that? And all I've been able to come up with is that when you're living a life like I lived, to be really good at lying is important. And maybe you just need to practice occasionally, so that when you really need one, you're there. Look him in the eye and lie. These were my social skills. This is how I was learning to function in the world. I wasn't coming up like other people. I wasn't concerned with the future. I didn't have a plan. My plan was just to have another drink. Just to get, I didn't think of myself as a pig. Without question I was. But I'm just having this drink, and I'm just buying this bottle, and I'm just going to go home and have these drinks tonight. That's all it was. And I remember by the time I got sober and cleaned up, sitting down with this guy and him asking me these questions, and I was talking about my past. And when we were done, he held up and he said, do you know that you've been loaded daily for 16 years? I was shocked. I was completely shocked. Out there, who's keeping track? You know what I mean? I'm just dealing with this right here. I'm right in here. That's irrelevant. Anyway, and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And bad things happened along the way. Some that were the direct result of my actions, some that were not. It's life on life terms, whether you're drunk or not. You know what I mean? What's going to happen? What happens, happens. And I remember mental institutions at 16, 20, I was diagnosed with malignant cancer. They flew me back to L.A. and prepared me to die and prepared my family for me to die. I remember thinking, you don't even know who you're talking to. I'm 20 years old. My drinking and using is extreme at this point. This dying thing, that comes up like twice a week. People giving you that funny look, you know what I mean? People looking at you like, oh no. He's going. And I was starting to overdose and do all that stuff that we do, and it was just, but the answer for me was just to, restructure the medication. It was never get sober. That was never a part of the plan for me. I was never interested in getting sober. I knew what that meant. That meant you walk the earth terrified. And I'm not willing. Wherever this takes me is where this is going to take me. My commitment is here. This is how I live. This is what I'm going to do. You don't like it? Move on. You want to come party with me? Great. But my relationships are very, very simple. You have drugs, alcohol, sex, money, information on how I can get any or all of the above. You know, you do? Let's talk. You don't? Next. Go away. I got no... Because, I don't have relationships with other human beings. I don't have them. Right? I'm self-centered. It's about me. It's about me getting what I need. You can't find... If I don't get it, you're going to find out who I am and how I function, and that I have no value in this world. I have nothing of any value to offer you at all. You will find out what the people who knew me best in the world found out, my family, and you will throw me away too. So I have no interest in getting to know you. I don't care how your day was. I don't want to chit-chat. I don't want to get to know you. I don't care. You come up to me and start chit-chatting with me. Oh, today we went to the market and we went over here and we did... It's like, no. I don't care. I'm glad to let you know. I don't care. You lost a family member. Bummer. I don't care. You think I'm heartless. Think whatever you like. This is how I have to live. And it got worse and worse, and I was more and more underground and more underground, and it got darker and darker and smaller and smaller and smaller. 22, my mother called me and said, we haven't gone anywhere as a family in 10 years. We've got to put the family back together, crying like mothers do. We'll go anywhere you want to go, but let's do it as a family. I said, fine. Yeah, fine. One more time we'll prove that this is pointless, and then I can go on about my life. What's this going to cost me? A few days. All right. So I fly back to L.A., and on my 22nd birthday, we took off to fly to Guadalajara, and on the way there, the plane crashed. And my mother, my father, my little sister were all killed. And I was not. And I woke up on a mountain in Mexico with a fractured skull, and my back busted in 3 places, and crushed leg and arm, and paralyzed my waist down, internal injuries. The only thing I could move was my right arm, and I was awake. And I'm laying on this mountain in Mexico, and my mother was laying right over there, my little sister Kimberly was right over there, and my father was laying right over there, and I couldn't get to them, and I couldn't help them. And they all bled to death right in front of me. And I had a little chat with God, and I said, you know what, I have no interest in a God of this type. Any God that would take a kind, gentle, loving little creature like my little sister Kimberly and leave a lying, cheating, thieving, dope fiend alcoholic like me on the planet, this makes no sense to me, and I renounce God. And then some guys came up and they scavenged the plane wreck. And I took my wallet out and put it on my chest with my right arm because I knew I was going to die, but I wanted them to know who I was for some reason. Just, this is who I am. See ya. And they took the wallet out of my chest, took the money out of it, threw my wallet back on my chest, went through, scavenged the wreck, and went back down off the mountain and left me up there to die. I had no more love for you either. That was it. I had no love of God. I had no love of my fellow man. Any need I had for the pretense or that front in my life to give you the impression that I was a part of you and functioning among you was over with as far as I was concerned. I got down off the mountain. They put me in the back of a truck with my mother. They took us to an aid station. They tagged her dead. They tagged me dead. They sat there smoking cigarettes waiting for me to die, which made me very angry. And they took us back to the hospital, and then the federales show up because they want to know what I'm doing back in Mexico. So they interrogated me through an interpreter for 3.5 days. Finally made a few phone calls and got myself smuggled out of Mexico. Spent a long time in a hospital in Southern California. Got out of there strung out on Demerol, and went on my last run, and it lasted for almost 6 years. And I was sober on 3 occasions during that time because I was strapped to a table for 72 hours in a detox, a bootleg sanitarium in Hollywood, where they'd strap, you go in, you give them your wallet and your gun and your bottle of Valium and your car keys and $150 cash. They'd take you in, strap you to a table, shoot you full of anticonvulsants, and 72 hours later, they'd just send you home or to the morgue, and they didn't really care which way you went. And I'd introduce myself to God, kicking like a dog, and say, you get me out of this sane and alive, and I'll never drink again. I can't take this anymore. And I meant that with every single fiber of my being. And the last time I did it, and I came out of there and I was drunk that night, and I was drunk for another 2 years. And by the time I got to you, my family was dead. I had no friends. I had no place to live. I was 215 pounds. I was yellow. I was psychotic. I do not use the term loosely. I couldn't tell what was true and what was false. It was just a big blur. Did I do that? Did somebody tell me that? Did I read that? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Just like I said, the guy in the room here is a very good friend of mine. We used to drink together, and he's told me parts of my story that I don't remember. He says, remember the time, man, we had started to have a party on a Friday night, and we drank and we used and we drank and we used and we drank and used, and Monday morning, everybody's gone, everybody's burning out, there's nothing left in the house, and you and I are sitting on the floor in the kitchen drinking the cooking sherry. And I went, no, I don't remember it. I know it's true, but I don't remember it. And we've been so together for a long time. As a matter of fact, he and I were at my friend Steele, we were at the International San Diego 5 years ago, and hooking up to do this again together as friends. It's an amazing thing. We've been sober together a while now. And neither one of us stood a chance. Neither one of us stood a chance. Here we are. Anyway, I had 74 broken bones. I had over 650 stitches in me. I'd been stabbed twice, shot at. The violence was insane in my life. And I came out of my last blackout and had both hands were broken, and they were deciding whether or not to charge me with attempted murder of a gentleman named David Luboff, who, as they were carting me off in the ambulance one more time to take me to the hospital, I remember him screaming at the ambulance, "You don't understand the ramifications of the situation." And I don't know why I remember that, but that's what he said. You do not understand the ramifications of the situation. As I'm strapped down in the ambulance being taken off one more time, I'm thinking, he's right. I don't. I don't get it. I'm a heartbeat away from dead, and I can't stop drinking. It's insane out of my mind. I threw up these 2 busted paws, and I said, help me. And, pump the stomach in the emergency room, get him out of here, he's dying. And they took me to another place 5 days. I was getting worse. They said, get him out of here. They took me by ambulance to the final place. They kept me for another 12 days of detox, 30 days in rehab on a free bed. And they said, you don't want to die, you can't drink again. And if you don't want to drink again, you better go to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I said, okay. And I ended up on a Friday night in the basement of a church, 8:30 meeting, and I went and I sat in the back of the church, my arms folded, my best tough guy look on my face, mad dogging everybody. Because y'all happy and dressed and nice and staying at, it's like, I don't get this. And just stay away from me, man. And it was because, don't stay away from me because you might get hurt. Stay away from me because I might get hurt. I'm like glass over here. If you come up to me, you're going to ask me questions I don't have the answers to, like, how you doing? I got nothing. If you find out who I am and you find out the things I have done, you will ask me to leave because you look like reasonable people, and that's what reasonable people would do. And I didn't come here because I wanted what you had. I had no idea what you had. I just knew I couldn't live another day with what I had. And I sat in the back, and this old guy got up, and he was like 65 years old, and he was a Skid Row bum, a wino, and an ex-boxer. And I remember thinking, I'm none of these things. This guy don't know nothing about me. And I was very good at spotting the differences, boy. If you're different than me, you don't know about me. I don't got to listen to you, which is my goal, to not have to listen to you, right? So I got to work my way there, right? If you're a woman, you don't know about me. And see, this isn't a better or a worse thing. It's just different. If you're different, you don't know about me. If you're a woman, you don't know about me. If you're gay, you don't know about me. If you're Hispanic, you're black, you're Asian, you don't know about me. Right? I had the wagon circle so tight by the time I got here, basically, you're not Earl? You don't know about me. And I sat in the back, and this old guy got, and the beauty of it was that my life was destroyed. I had burned my life to the ground. There was no side door out of the game for me. There was no area of life I could look at and go, oh, well, it's going pretty good here. You know what I mean? It was just flat wasteland in every direction, I was a low bottom, hopeless drunk. I stopped using the drugs a couple of years before I got here because I had to go with the old reliable. I snort 3 or 4 grams of cocaine a day just to keep me on my feet so that I could drink the way I wanted to drink. It was about the drinking, right? And, boy, that's the big dog. I've kicked everything you can name, up and down. Heroin, cocaine, speed, all this stuff, right? You can go sit on the couch and kick all of it, except alcohol. Alcohol, you go kick on the couch. You get a couple of quarts a day going, you go kick on the couch, you just lay there and convulse to death. This is the big dog, right? And I mean, I'm so sick, and I get out of this hospital, and I'm sitting in the back of that meeting. This old guy gets up there, and the beauty of it was, I had no place else left to go. If I had somewhere to go, I would have gone. But my life was such that when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, if you had told me, look, you got to go to a meeting a day, and our meetings are from noon to midnight. They're 12 hours long, and you got to go every day, I would have just said, okay. I have no conflict in my schedule here. This interferes with nothing I'm doing. I'll just go. I was destroyed and hopeless. And this old guy got up, this guy I knew didn't understand me at all. I knew didn't understand me. And he shared his experience, strength, and hope with me. He shared it with me. And he talked openly and honestly about his feelings as a man. And he did it with grace, and he did it with dignity, and he did it with humor. And I saw people looking at a disease that had driven me to absolute hopelessness and madness. And they were laughing and they were celebrating their lives. And I thought, this is amazing. It's amazing. But I mean, look of total disdain on my face. You know, and inside thinking, wow, you know. And then it was like he looked right at me and he said, you know what, I don't care whether you like what I got to say or not. You don't like it? Go to another meeting. I thought, that is great. I love that. Because it was clear to me, he's not selling me anything. He's not trying to convince me of anything. He's sharing it with me. And if I want it, I can have it. It's for free. If I don't want it, that's cool. Go to another meeting. Maybe you can hear a message of recovery, a message of hope there that you can identify with, and you can catch the buzz that's available in here. I thought, this is cool. I'm coming back. You know? I'm coming back. That day, I had something. I didn't know I had it, but I had something I hadn't had in years, and that was hope. I had some hope. I think the greatest gift you can give to another alcoholic, hope. You know? And I said, I'm coming back. And I went home and I paced and I cried and I paced and I cried. I wasn't sleeping. You know? And next Friday I went back. I sat in the back. Folded my arms. Woman got up to speak. And I nudged the guy next to me and I said, where's the guy? He said, what guy? I said, the guy that talks here. I heard him last week. I came back to hear some more. And the guy looked at me and he goes, you're new, aren't you? And I said, yeah, what's your point? And he says, oh yeah, we do a different speaker every week. We try to go male, female, a little something for everybody, young and old. And we got all kinds of meetings. Our particular group, we've got a candlelight discussion meeting, and we've got a men's second, a women's second. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Way too much information, man. You're making me nuts. I mean, I was good with get car, go meeting, your guy, go home. You know what I mean? I was not all happy and ready to roll, you know what I mean? I was messed up, inside and out. And I thought, okay, you know, I'll listen to Granny. You know, I can hear it. You know, like, you know what you do, you know, little brandy in the tea, you know, drop the cup and race into AA, you know? Sure, I'm going to identify a lot with Granny, right? Granny gets up, you know, and just looked like everybody's grandma. It's like, oh, hi, I'm Louise. I'm an alcoholic. It's like, yeah, hi, Louise. And Louise gets up, and Louise throws down. I mean, this nice little old lady gets up and explains how any alcoholic woman worth her salt can drink for 2 weeks on 50 cents, and then breaks down exactly how you go about doing that. You know? And I'm in the back row going, yeah, Granny! Check her out, man! And then it hits me, oh my God, I'm identifying with Granny. You know? Something really weird is going on in here. You know, and then the next week I'm not pacing waiting for the guy. I'm waiting to find out, you know, who's next? You know? And I've never left. I've been involved to my eyeballs from that day to this. You know, I've never left. I still don't have any place else left to go. You know? I mean, I have a great life. I have problems, you know, but I got the best problems I've ever had in my life. which is a good way to, I think, to gauge how you're doing. You know, how are you doing? Well, these are my problems, and they're excellent. You know? I mean, if I look around in my life and think, look at my life and go, well, there are absolutely no problems present here. I'm thinking, well, you ain't in the game enough, man. Get your ass back out there in the world. Push the envelope. Get out there and mix it up. Be good at that and be bad at that until you're good at it. And go out there and move around and shake it up and get out in the world and grow and expand and learn. Manifest the things that have come to you as a result of being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Get out there and mix it up. Progress, not perfection. Progress suggests to me I'm moving. Right? So I look at my problem, I got the best problem. I got problems in areas where I didn't even used to have areas. That's how it works for me. And you know, there's no talking to you people. I'm trying to have a conversation, you go right to the drinking thing, fine. I'll make the damn coffee. Now, he could have said to me, look, one of the great things we do as a part of the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, I mean, the reason we have meetings is to have a place where a newcomer can come and hear a message of recovery and a message of hope. That's why we have a meeting. That's why we do it. Right? The program is in the big book. That's the program. We study what's in the big book. I mean, that's the loop in here. You know, you come in, you say, I don't know how to live. Some other guy in there goes, I do. How do you do it? Come with me. They get you a book. They say, start reading this, call me, we're going to work our way through the 12 steps. You say, okay, new guy, take. Older guy, been through the steps, had an awakening as a result of that process, been restored to sanity, soundness of mind, relieved of the obsession of drinking use. Give. Right? New guy, catches buzz, catches on fire, got the deal. Goes, what do I do? Says, see that guy that just came in? The little insane person? Lucky thing about AA, new wave of insanity, washing up on the beach every day. No shortage of opportunities for service, man. You see that guy that just came in with that deer in the headlights look? He could probably use a few suggestions. We got him. Give him what was freely given to you. Check. And you start giving. You go, that's the loop, right? Donald got me into that loop. He said, make the coffee. I didn't understand. He could have said, what we do in here is we don't give the new guys the coffee job and the cleanup job and the setup job and the greeter job because there's the new guys into the grunt and we pick on them. We give them the best we got to offer. We're going to give them an opportunity to manifest some of the principles that are afoot in this program. We're going to give you the best there is. You get to make the coffee. What this means is, as a self-centered, frightened alcoholic girl, you're going to have to focus on the coffee instead of Earl. You're going to be out of self for probably 4 hours the size of that meeting on a Friday night. You're going to have to worry about getting the pots and filling the pots and bringing all that condiment stuff and the cream and the stuff and the tea and the stuff. Oh, you got to have all that stuff in the box and you got to have it ready and you got to have enough and you got to plug in all the pots and cook the coffee and you can't blow out the fuse because then the meeting's dark. You got to be very careful and you got to get the pots out and you got to get them all set up and you got to have everybody what they want. At the break, you got to bring out the new pots and take the old pots in. You got to wash everything out. 4.5 hours. Not thinking about Earl. Every Friday night I'm going home from the meeting and I go, you know, I feel good. I don't know why. Must be the speakers they're getting. I don't know. It took me like 6 months to put it together. Out of self, feeling better. Out of self, feeling better. It's pretty cool. It's getting a little deep around here. It's getting kind of cosmic. And I like that. And you keep going, And so I haven't left. It's been, I don't know, November. I don't do anything stupid. It'll be 20 years I've been here. Trust me when I tell you, you're applauding yourself. Because that's got nothing to do with my best thinking. That's got to do with the things that I have learned in here and been willing as a result of having been beaten into a state of reasonableness by the disease of alcoholism. I became humbled by that and willing to listen to you. And you taught me, and you sustained me, and you made it possible for me to survive and live a life beyond my wildest dreams. That's why I'd never been a part of anything in my life before I got here. I was never a Boy Scout. I didn't join anything. I didn't come here to join. I came here to survive the disease of alcoholism. And it's working. It's working. And I sponsor a legion of guys now. I mean, a legion of guys. who sponsor an unbelievable number of guys. And they're the ones that I learn from now. They're the ones that teach me. They're the ones that ask the questions that must always be asked. They're the ones that catch fire with the things that have burned in me for a long time. And I get used to it, and I see it hit them, and I realize how miraculous my life is on a daily basis, how lucky and fortunate I am. I watch what happens with them, and I realize what's available and possible for a guy like me. So as a result of working the steps, is that I can close my eyes, breathe in and out, and get right here. Get right between those. Get right here, right now, that thing that I avoided my whole life. I can't be right here, right now, because that's the life I have to live. That's where my feelings as a man are. That's where all my fear, my doubt, my insecurity, my total lack of self-esteem, that's all here. And I can't be here and I have to get away. Now I found that I have to come back to right here, get in between those, because that's where my life is. That's where God is. That's where any dignity or honor or self-respect I will understand as a man. It's all right in there. And I have to do that. I can't love you anyplace else. And I can't allow you to love me anyplace else. I can't get the things I want in life, which is I want a sense of family and a habit. I want a sense of community and a habit. I want to feel comfortable standing where I'm standing, doing what I'm doing with the people I'm doing it with, no matter what that is. I want the power of that in my life. And I can only get that from a loving God, a God that I personally don't understand. They said, find a God of your own understanding. I had to go a little bit further, and I had to find a God that I don't understand at all. I mean, I try to get this little head of mine around in the infinite, and it just won't go all the way around, you know. I go till it gets spooky, and I come on back, you know. And it's all God to me. I don't need to understand God. I just need to see the manifestation of God's will all around me, every day, in the things that I see go on. I mean, this is a pretty good opportunity if I'm willing to look at it. Standing up here looking at all of you, I'm looking at a bunch of dead people. Sitting upright, celebrating a life of recovery, coming from all over the world to be together and celebrate around the great campfire, you know what I mean? To tell their stories and share their experience and revel in this kind of a life. The only way I know for a guy like me to get at that is through the steps. Step one is, what's the problem? Lack of power is my dilemma. If lack of power is my problem, what's my solution? Step two, power greater than myself that could restore me to sanity, soundness of mind, relieve me of the obsession to drink. I'm in. Step 3 says, you need to make a decision to do something about this, or it's not going to happen. You're going to have to take some action. Okay, I get down on my knees. I turn my will of my life over to the care of God that I don't understand. So I'm going to take that action. It's up to you. I'm going to do what you suggest. And then begin immediately upon a plan of action, 4 through 9. 4 and 5 is me. 6 and 7 is God, and 8 and 9 is you. Nobody else to play with. 4 and 5, I swallow large chunks of truth about myself. I look at resentment, fear, and sex. I do this 4-column inventory. I work through that. I see my part in it. I look at it in black and white in front of me. I see it for what it is, not what I'd like it to be or imagine it to be, but what it is. Right? I see the effectiveness of me at the helm. You know? 6 and 7, I hook it back up with God. Ask God to remove the defects of character because I'll remove the wrong stuff. 8 and 9, I hook it back up with you. I'm very, very sorry. Here's your money. I go back in the house. And to amend means to change. So I'm very, very sorry I stole your car. I estimate the value of the theft at the time of the theft at $2,500. If that's acceptable to you, I'll begin to make payments on that until that amount of money is paid to you. And I will not go steal your car and sell it to pay you for the car I stole from you. Change. I gotta change. Right? 10, 11, and 12 keep me in the game. Same thing, me, God, and you. Me, I continue to take personal inventory because, and when I'm wrong, promptly admit it, because I'll wait till sometime next year. I'll build a resentment against you somehow, and I'll fester and I'll die. I got to deal with it. I got to deal with it. 11, as a God, I seek God. I seek Him through prayer and meditation. I pray for knowledge of His will for me and the power to carry that out. And I meditate to quiet the mind so that when the answers come, I can hear them. 12, having had a spiritual awakening, that being having been restored to sanity, down to having been relieved of the greater aspect of my disease, having been relieved of the obsession to drink, I can practice these principles and carry the message to you. How can I help? Not because I'm a good guy, but because I don't want to die drunk. That's why I do it. I don't want to die drunk. I want to stay in this game. And I got to remember my new boys. I got to remember, because as I move along the path and I catch the buzz, and all of a sudden I can hear that speaker that I could never hear before, that I heard 50 times and I could never hear him, and now I can hear him. So I go get Louis, who's got 90 days, and I take Louis to hear the guy speak. And I'm thinking, and we're sitting and we're watching the owl just throwing down. And I'm thinking, isn't this great? That at 19 plus years of sobriety, I could bring Louis and expose Louis to the pearls of wisdom that Al just nailing tonight. Fact of the matter is, Louis is having a completely different meeting than I'm having. Louis got 90 days. I got to remember what I was like at 90 days. Going over to Ohio Street on a Friday night, go to a meeting in my car, right? And me in the inside of my head and how I worked. I got to remember it. Got to give Louis his turn. I would go to Friday night Ohio saying, okay, I found the meeting. It's good. There it is. Park the car. Go in. Put the keys in the car. Put the keys in the seat. You got to put the keys in the seat. Everything. Where am I going to sit? The guy with the red coat. Sit next to the guy with the red coat. Put the keys in the seat. I'll find the guy with the red coat if everything's cool. Okay, I got to find. People come. How you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. The ring of bell. We're sitting down. We're good. We're sitting down. Good. I'm fine. All right. Now they're reading something. Up there, guys. He's up. He's down. Another guy's up. I missed all of that. Guy's reading. He's reading. He's rarely seen something. I don't know what he really saw, but he really saw something. And the 12 things. Okay, there's 12 things in A. 12 things in A. 12 things. ABC. 12 things ABC. 12 things ABC. 12 things. He's down. I didn't get a lot, but that was pretty good. All right. Another guy's up. Here's another guy. Another guy's up. I did that. I drank all. That was great. He's down. It wasn't enough of that, but they're good down. Now, they're passing the basket. Where are they passing? Don't take the money. Didn't take the money, go on a break, God's good. We're on a break, We're smoking? Yeah, I smoke. Good, we'll go. So ring the bell, we're going back in, I gotta find the guys. Where's the break over here? Where's the guy with the break over here? Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm fine. I said I'm fine. All right. They're reading 12 things. Okay, 12 more things. There's 24 things in ABC. 24 things ABC. 24 things ABC. And he's down. I missed all. I'll get back to that later. That's fine. Here's another guy. He drank. I did that. Wow. I felt like that. This is great. I'm in the right place. He's down. That was very good. Very good. I love that part. They're up. They're talking. Okay. I'll keep coming back. Right now, we're up. We're holding hands. What are we doing? Prayer. I know it's prayer. Okay, we said the prayer. That would lead the meeting, right? That was me in a meeting. That was a successful AA meeting for me. I got to remember. I'm sitting in a meeting with Louis, who's sitting on his hand, and he's got that look on his face. What's the bigger? That. What? And we're leaving the meeting, and I started looking at him and I go, that's a great, I love that meeting, man. What'd you think? He goes, oh, it's great. I think, cool, man. You had your meeting. You sat there, you made it through. You did your best to grab a little bit, and you got a little bit, and you keep coming back. And you get a little bit more, and you get a little bit more, and then there's that day where you look up and you sit there in your own life, and there's a sense of ease and contentment you never thought was possible. You got a new joy happening. You got a new freedom. You've caught the buzz. You have caught the buzz. You are in the game. You're all lit up, and boy, you're going to give it away tonight. And you're that new guy at a meeting running around looking for trouble, man. And you see some terrified individual coming in, and you're on him. The minute you're on him, you're on your way. You got the whole loop going. You are in the game. The buzz can be yours. Worlds within worlds here. It just gets deeper and deeper and more profound and more freeing. They asked me in the beginning when I got here, how free do you want to be? I said, I was a pig out there. I'm going to be a pig in here, man. I want it all. And because of you, I got a place to go. Because of Bill and Bob, I got a place to go. And tonight, I'm going to go to that thing. I'm going to jump up and down and cry and carry on and tell people I love them. I'm just going to let it go, man. Because that's what this is about. Celebrating the buzz. Celebrating the life. That we're in the game. It's all around the planet. You an alcoholic, you know who I am. You're an alcoholic, I know who you are. We got a common problem and a common solution, man, and it's about celebrating that every single minute. That's what I'm going to do, and I wish you peace. Thanks.